Unscrewed with Martin Sargent. Next.
Coming up tonight, a woman who channels Nostradamus will tell us what else the future. Plus, a healer named Fred who allows an energy pattern of light named Curiel to speak through him. And our girl Gone Wired wants to do more acting and would love to play the role of, quote, the crazy chick in a movie. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to meet me first! I'm Laura Swisher, the crazy girl! You're watching Unscrewed.
Unscrewed. That's right.
And here he is, the man who Nostradamus correctly predicted would wet his bed in college. It's Martin Sargent.
Yeah, how you doing, everyone? Great to have you here. That's enough. Simmer down. Simmer down, everyone. Simmer down. You know, Laura, I didn't just wet my bed. I wet my whole damn dorm room in college. My roommate had to lay down cedar chips after a while. That's how bad it got.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of like that movie, like Urine for Chocolate.
You're in
The foreign film. I don't know if you saw
Don't
it.
watch the subtitles. Are you slurring your speech?
I'm not Spanish.
All right, let's get to it. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Unscrewed, the show that likes to go walking, sometimes up to Henderson's Notch, and sit and stare at the stars and wonder what would happen if we blew some of them stars up, or maybe a planet. I'm Martin Sargent. Fact! Since the dawn of time, humankind has wondered, are we alone in the universe? We've explored the far reaches of space, landed on the moon, but still, the question remains unanswered. Until now. Because yesterday at twilight, I was contacted by a super intelligent race of space beings. This is Glenn. And Glenn is the king of the space beings. I swear, I was just hanging out yesterday in the backyard, shirtless, updating my celestial charts, and suddenly, in a flash of light, Glenn appeared, and my security cam picked up this footage.
Hello, Martin. You're a thing of beauty.
Glenn spoke of endless joys that await us all when his alien brothers come to take us through the gate of changes to the Valley of the Golden Pony. See, that's what Glenn and his space brothers call heaven, the Valley of the Golden Pony. I guess there's going to be a gold pony or something. Oh, and before I forget, side note, also in the Valley of the Pony, or whatever the f*** it's called, you will need to make sure you always have your Pony Valley ID card with you, because that's how you get access to the parking garage and the banquet facilities and the bathhouse, okay? Now, you may be asking yourself, why did Glenn, the king of space, come to television's Martin Sargent? I wish I knew, because frankly, Glenn is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's pretty cool in space. You dig it. Here, put on this vest. And here, this is the symbol of your importance.
Just looks like a giant plastic candy cane.
It's a magic space candy cane. Trust me. So, okay, touch my groin area with the candy cane. My blue button. Press it slowly, slowly. Now faster, push it, push it, push it, push it. Quick, take off your pants.
So I leave you with this. The universe is a vast place full of wonder and beauty, but we are not alone. Not at all. In fact, our space brothers really want to get close to us. They want to get very close, and, you know, they also like being disciplined.
Yes, Martin, whip me just like that. Yes, 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 yes.
The fact that I had sex play with an alien robot, where does that put me on the Kinsey scale? Laura, any idea?
I don't know, but you know what? You didn't see that in AI. And I think Spielberg should have added some of that to make it real. AI. AI.
Oh, that was that movie with Macaulay Culkin, right? No, it was the other. Haley Joel Osment,
Haley
that's
Joel
right.
Osment.
Genius. Oh, big news. We're moving the show to Los Angeles.
We are?
Yeah, we're moving down to
No
Los
way.
Angeles. And we want everyone out there, you guys, to come
Incredible.
and be part of our studio audience. Here's how you do it.
Where?
Go to G4TechTV.com. That's where you're going to get all the instructions.
Where?
G4TechTV.com.
G4TechTV.com?
Yeah.
Right on.
AA.org.
AA.org?
So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to move to LA. You're from LA. I've never lived. I hear
From LA.
I hear that like there's guys that sell oranges right there in the intersections.
And cherries.
It's awesome. I can't wait to go to LA. Please join us. G4TechTV.com.
The homeless people wear Rolexes in LA.
You know what else they do? The homeless people
They
in
have
LA.
fountains of cocaine. No joke. In LA.
Hey, let's do it. Tonight's show is better than a hot and delicious bowl of A bowl of We've got a little channeling theme going on in the program tonight. It's kind of a channeling special. First, we've got a woman who speaks with Nostradamus to predict the future. And then we chat with Reverend Fred, a master light channeler who speaks to a being from the seventh dimension for peace. But before all that high and mighty stuff, time to play a little game we call Third First. All right, here's how it works. I'll be giving our contestants 3 words or phrases that sound to the ear similar. For example, wine cellar, silent smeller, and little feller. Then the contestants will have to choose which one of the 3 terms gets the highest hit count on Google. Understand the rules? Laura, got it?
Yes.
All right, then let's meet tonight's contestants. We've got returning champion Triple D Dawn against newcomer Josephina. Welcome, folks. Hey, Dawn, great to have you back on the program.
Always enjoy watching you.
You know, Dawn, I remember back in the glory days, you used to sell your panties via your website. Why'd you give up such a lucrative scheme, selling the panties?
Well, I guess I just didn't think it was right for all of those U.S. postal employees to get to see them and not anyone else. So.
Yeah, some of your panties I would suspect to be dusted with anthrax. Absolutely. Hey, Josephina, newcomer, your site, kinkyinternoilbath.com, says that you're into hot oil baths with small people. So how hot is hot and how small is small?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Gary Coleman in a bathtub of habanero pepper sauce. That sounds pretty good.
You know, I've seen a lot of cam whores in my day. You are the stankiest, most snaggletooth looking one I've ever seen.
Oh, Marty, you're so funny.
All right, let's play. I'm going to say 3 terms. They're going to have to guess which term is going to get the most search results in Google. Got the rules?
Yeah.
Okay, here are the terms. Rabid dog, LA smog, or dropping log. Which one of those 3 terms will get the highest search result in Google? Anytime, go.
Dropping log, dropping log.
Josephina, drop some log. Dawn, what do you say?
I'd say rabbit dog.
You say rabid dog. Let me tell you, dropping log gets 5,000. 5,120. Rabid dogs, 123,000. It's LA smog, 958,000. Congratulations, Dawn. You just won an all-expense paid dinner with our security guard, Papito. Yeah. You will enjoy that. You will enjoy that immensely, especially if you enjoy sausage. Oh, Josephina. I just threw up in my mouth. Then you at home, to see more of our cam girls, go do a Google search on their names and you'll find their sites. All right, coming up, we'll talk to Nostradamus through the medium of a very old woman. Stick around. Hey, thanks very much and welcome back to Unscrewed. Nostradamus wrote over 1,000 short poems that some say predict the future. The poems are tremendously difficult to interpret unless you know Nostradamus personally. Here's the author of the 3-volume set, Conversations with Nostradamus, Ms. Dolores Cannon. How you doing? Wonderful to have you here on the program. So, Dolores, you talk to Nostradamus.
Yes, I did, and it's quite unusual, but I wanted to tell you how I do it.
Yeah, I'd love to know how you talk to Nostradamus.
I'm a past life therapist, a hypnotist with over 30 years experience. That means if you come to me with problems, I would take you into your other lifetimes.
You can make a lot of money off of me.
I know, that's what I was thinking. You probably have problems. But I would take you into your other lifetimes to find the answers to the problem.
I see. So this was sort of a happy accident, I presume, then. You were meeting with Nostradamus. You were doing some past life regression with someone, and that person used to be Nostradamus in a past life?
No, she wasn't. She was one of his students. And it happened that we were able to make the connection with Nostradamus while she was in trance. So it's a very unusual story. And I know there's not enough time to go into it.
Not. Well, what's Nostradamus like? Is he like a chill dude? Or
what? No, he's not. He's like a very stern school teacher, professor, and you really feel very stupid when you're in his presence.
Really?
You would feel right at home.
But I mean... People have been trying to. That's all right. That's all right. People have been trying to interpret the predictions of Nostradamus for so long, and you have the advantage because is this how it works? Nostradamus actually tells this person that you know, who is the regressed person, exactly what he was actually saying in his quatrains. Is that correct?
Yes, because he said that they were happening right now, and they never had been correctly interpreted. So he gave me a job. He said he wanted me to help him get it to our time, and he told us what all the symbolism was, the anagrams, and they're really very complicated. He explained every point of them. So it's the most accurate interpretation of Nostradamus' quatrains that's ever been written.
All right, Dolores Cannon, I want you to prove it right now. What are some of the interpretations of his work that you've done that have already come to pass? Things that have happened, let's just say in the past few years, that you predicted because of the conversations you had with Nostradamus.
Well, I didn't predict them, remember.
Right, but okay, you interpreted them. So.
I'm the reporter that just writes it down, and then I lecture on it all over the world, and they're in 20 different languages now. But the books first came out in 1989, and immediately the events began to come true, so I'm glad they were in print, because we had 3 about the fall of the Berlin Wall, and about the Gulf War when it was starting up, about the breakup of the communist countries. It was amazing, and my readers are the ones that keep finding the latest ones and sending them on email, and we put them on the internet whenever they come true.
And didn't you also predict Bill Clinton getting a in the Oval Office? Pardon my medieval French.
I didn't do it. Nostradamus
but
saw it.
You actually saw it? He told. Okay, what did he say? When you're having a conversation with Nostradamus, how did he put it? What terms did he put that
in? You have it. I think you have it on your papers there. It had to do with the adulterous lady, I believe it was.
There is a line from that quatrain about an adulterous position in power. How do you know that?
It was supposed to be about a president doing some things that were not ethical. And so it was
that's every president, though. Really, it is. That's every president, and most of them probably committed adultery,
yes, and there's a lot about Bush, too.
Really?
See, this is what I do now. I put it on my website because I can no longer update the books. There's just too much information. I added a 50-page addendum to Volume 1, and there's just too much. It's happening all the time. There were several dealing with Bush and about the Iraqi war. He called the Iraq Mesopotamia. Because
real quick, what does he think of Bush?
Not very much.
He doesn't like George Bush. Okay, we got future predictions, okay? There's some very important things on the horizon that have not yet come to pass that Nostradamus predicted and you interpreted. What's one? You say some things, some very scary things about the Statue of Liberty, or he does.
Yes, they did, because he did predict the 9/11, and this was before it happened, and he predicted the Pentagon. And he said Pentagon in the books. But there was one that hasn't come true, and I hope it won't, but it deals with the Statue of Liberty. He saw the Statue of Liberty being blown up by a bomb on a boat in the harbor.
Jesus.
I know, and you notice right after 9/11, there hasn't been any boats allowed within a mile of the Statue of Liberty.
You think that's why? Because
I think so. People have said that they think the government has read my books, because they've taken all the precautions that he has advised them to do, so who knows?
I believe that. And on a more positive note, tell us about the 1,000 years of peace.
Okay, because
that's coming up.
That's the good part.
Yeah, let's forget that whole Statue of Liberty blowing up thing. Let's go to the good
he has plenty about what he calls the time of troubles right now, and we're in all of that. There's plenty about the doom and gloom. But he said if we get out of this, we will go into the 1,000 years of peace. The time of the great genius, we will have wonderful inventions. He saw advancements in computers that you wouldn't believe. They're going to be what he called the organic computers.
You mean they're going to come out with Doom 4?
I don't know. It's something that has not been invented yet, because some of them will be operated on thought. We will be able to see things within our minds, so they won't even, we don't even have to be hooked up to anything. But they already have some of that stuff out now. But the computers will be able to replicate themselves and repair themselves.
It's a whole nanotechnology thing he's talking about,
it's a whole
isn't
new
it?
thing.
I wish that we had more time to talk because there's so much more I'd love to talk to you about. In fact, if you could come back sometime, maybe talk about your work with UFO hypnotherapy.
In my work of 30 years, I've covered every field of the paranormal you can imagine. 20 years dealing with UFOs and abductees.
Well, you got to come back. Dolores Cannon, thanks so much for being on the program. And for more on Nostradamus' prophecies, check out her website, ozark-m-t.com, right?
Ozark and MT goes together.
Okay, got it. Ozark and MT together. Do a search on Dolores Cannon on Google. You'll find the books. All right, up next, create peace on Earth by channeling groovy light patterns from another dimension. More channeling after the break. Hey, welcome back. My next friend is a master medium, minister, and messenger. A man who walks between the third dimensional world of the human and the boundless realms of spirit. Via Netcam from the Honolulu Church of Light, here's the author of The Great Shift, the Reverend Fred Sterling. Aloha, Fred.
Aloha, Marty. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Fantastic to have you here on the program.
Well, thank you.
So, Reverend Fred, for 15 years, you've been channeling the loving light and wisdom of an entity called Kurael.
Correct.
Who or what is Kurael?
The answer to that one is real simple. It's a being from another vibration of light, a little bit different than we are here on the Earth plane. He calls it the seventh dimension or the seventh light, and it's guidance, Marty, is what it is. Just plain guidance, and it's meant for whoever needs to hear it at the time.
Well, you're the guy who channels him. You're the one who talks to him. What kind of guidance is he telling you?
Well, most of it, just like you just said, is the process where we wrote that first book that we put out was The Great Shift. It was about that the world was happening, was changing around us, and what our major focus is to make sure that people realize that it's not about doom and gloom, that it's actually about something very positive. It's a world that's happening. Programs like yours, for instance, where people can say what's really on their mind and be able to tell the world what they feel and have a place, a forum to do it.
So you say that not only yourself, but me and Laura and everyone here in our audience tonight is what you call a light worker. What is incumbent upon me as a light worker?
Well, I would say it this way, Marty. I would say that a light worker simply means that you know the world is changing at a very rapid pace, and all that we've learned in the past just isn't fitting anymore, and we need to find out what's really going on. It's not about right or wrong. It's about what's going on. The Da Vinci Code, the 9/11 Fahrenheit, all these other things that are happening. I think light workers have been waiting for this time to come about. So
you think that book, the Da Vinci Code, is that on the level? Is that guy saying something real? Is that all true stuff?
I tell you what, we just did a whole thing with that with Carol on a program. We have a worldwide program that we beam out every week, a weekly program, and we talked a lot about that. I think it's a code. That's exactly what he says. I think that when people like him or the guy who wrote the Celestine Prophecies, I think when they do these things, I think that they are guided in a certain fashion, much like I'm guided, only they don't really talk about it.
Jeez, I wish I would get guided like that. Those guys became billionaires off those books. You kidding me? It's crazy. So, I mean, how do you contact Kurael? Why did Kurael come to you, and how do you get into such a trance state that you can actually have conversations with him?
You know, and that's very interesting, because I really don't get into trance states where I can have conversations with him. I get in, see, let me just give you this real brief. There is what we call channels, which is, I think everybody does, you and everybody there in your studio audience. I think you channel information. I think sometimes when you're sitting thinking something through, something different comes that you don't recognize, and you say it, and that, my friend, is channeled information. As a medium, I have a way of putting my consciousness completely aside and letting this other entity or energy pattern, Kurael, actually talk directly to you.
That's kind of like me when I get high on pot.
Amen.
You know? I mean, I see all sorts of weird things, man, I'm telling you. And they're good things. They're real good things.
Fred, I listened a little bit to Kurael's broadcast on your internet radio show, but it sounds like Kurael has a little bit of an Irish brogue happening. What's going on?
It's actually a little deeper in the Scottish realm, but you're close enough, and I think that is because of the way he speaks. It has to be, I think he needed basically to differentiate himself away from me so he could have his own reality, or forgive that, but I guess that's what it is. Actually, we sent that voice to have it analyzed one time, and it has 7 different dialects of everything from English and Scottish and Irish and everything else involved in it.
God, I got to meet this guy. I want to meet this guy. Okay, we got to run, but when is it going to happen? When is the quickening going to come to pass? When are we going to launch into that new evolutionary period?
That's a question I'm asked only about 100 times a day, and my answer is this. When we, the people, that's you and me, when the light workers are really opened up and ready to understand that it's already happening, we just got to wait for the big pounce to happen, and it will happen, because that's the way the world is going. You can see it, I can see it, all of your listeners can see it and feel it along with everybody else.
Light workers of the world, unite! Reverend Fred Sterling, thanks so much for being on the program.
Aloha.
For more on Curael, the guardian of our evolution, check out Curael.com. All right, just ahead, more channeling. We'll channel the loving, thrusting power of the poontang. Girls Gone Wired next. And now let's raise high the cup of loin nectar and sip. Girls Gone Wired. Tonight's overflowing goblet of honey is Mariah Nelson. Mariah is a model, but she's also something more. She is my muse. And for the first time in years, I am able to create again. And now I shall recite for you a series of haiku. I will buy a van, and in that van shall I wander to Texas and other places. Oh joy, and I will always have with me a number of photos of Mariah, which I will glue to the roof of the van so as to be stimulated sexually. Hey, for more on Mariah, hit her site. Hey, we're out of time, but come partake in the excitement of live television. Come to G4 Tech TV. Big ups to my friends Dawn, Stacey, Ira, Dolores Cannon, Reverend Fred Sterling. All right, everyone.